600 seconds to try to communicate what I have both learned and experienced in 600 million seconds of my 19 years of life. As I sat down to write this speech, I thought, what can I possibly say that will allow you to understand how I feel, how I got to where I am today, and how I am still standing. Nevertheless, here is my story. The day I was born, my parents moved to a small town in California called La Cañada, with my brother, sister, and 2 dogs. About 10 minutes outside of Pasadena and 15 from downtown, without traffic of course, I was supposed to be living the dream. I attended some of the highest ranked schools in the state, excelled at every grade level, and even earned a black belt in Taekwondo by the 3rd grade. But location and achievements are not everything, even if they help you get into the school of your dreams or the job of your choice. Mental health and the experiences that happen within us internally are just as, if not more, important. When I was little, I never really felt like I fit in. It seemed like everyone but me had friends to hang out with during recess and later breaks, lunch, after school, and even on the weekends and over the summer. I wasn't invited to a single birthday party without a parent being involved, let alone any party until high school. And even then, I did not go because I didn't want to listen to the blaring music, to the cursing, to the yelling, or witness their so-called dancing. I couldn't stand the smell of drugs and the taste of alcohol, or understand their abilities to change one's state of mind, something that everyone but me seemed to love. Relationships were a constant struggle for me, especially when someone played multiple roles in my life or had a different set of values than my own. I felt so different from everyone else, but I didn't know exactly how. By the summer before junior year of high school, I couldn't stand not knowing for any longer. I asked my mom to see a therapist, and after a couple of months, my therapist referred me to a psychologist. Weeks of testing later, the results came back. At the age of 16, I learned that I had PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, and high-functioning autism. 2 years later, premenstrual dysphoric disorder was added to the list. For this version of my story, I am only going to focus on my journey with autism in hopes of not only raising awareness for the disorder, but also acceptance. Autism is like a spectrum. Like the color spectrum we are all familiar with, some colors can be mixed to form a new, unique color. I happen to fall near one end of the spectrum. As I've come to realize over the years, the only difference between me and someone categorized on the other end of the spectrum is that I can hide my differences and challenges better. All I've learned is to play a part. I've learned what to say and when. I've learned what positions to contort my body into when a certain music genre begins to play. I've memorized scripts for more situations than I can count, and I am still learning my role in the play of life. By using the majority of my energy studying and copying other people's actions, expressions, and movements, I am able to fit in and not seem like a red dot in a wave of green. This does not make me higher functioning. This just makes me appear as normal. According to mental health professionals, autism is a term to describe a common neurological and developmental difference in the brain that affects our ability to communicate and socialize with others. This common challenge does not make us all the same color though, because every single person on the spectrum is unique. Just like you and I, and the person sitting next to you, and the person sitting across from you, and every single one of you in this room. Upon first coming to this realization, I felt incapable of relating to anyone, as nobody else in the world was like me. Feeling different from everyone else, I felt alone, anxious, and depressed. Consequently, I felt ashamed of who I was. Little did I know, just being a human being makes me related or connected to about 8 billion other people in one way or another. Others' reactions to finding out I had autism in my final years of high school did not help. Some would gasp, widen their eyes, and even tell me that they were sorry. Others told me that they would have never guessed or known it if I hadn't told them. I felt as if a part of me was meant to be kept a secret, as if I was meant to be kept a secret. I felt like I needed to choose between being myself, pleasing others by following societal norms, and convincing others of my diagnosis by exaggerating my differences. Then came the time for me to make an important decision: which college I was going to attend. I could choose the best fit school for me, the best ranked college that I was accepted to, or a school that I felt my diagnosis required that I go to. I loved the outdoors, so when Outdoor Adventures at USD offered a pre-orientation camping trip to Channel Islands for potential incoming freshmen, I immediately signed up. I thought that if there was ever a time for me to risk being my authentic self, I should do it with people from the school that I considered to be the best fit for me. On a remote island for a week, with no cell service, showers, or toilets, I went hiking, snorkeling, and adventuring with about 20 other strangers that I could possibly be seeing every day for the next 4 years of my life. And native foxes who stole our snacks, socks, and hearts. I took a huge risk, but in doing so, I realized the power of vulnerability. Not only did I feel completely accepted by those strangers who I'm still friends with to this day, but for the first time in my life, I felt like I fit in. I felt a sense of belonging, a sense of connection in a world full of division. I had discovered a wonderful community and a loving support system, all by just expressing myself freely. During my first year at USD, as well as this summer, I came to recognize that removing the chains that held my authentic self back meant that all parts of myself, instead of just the parts that I thoughtfully select, would become apparent to others. Letting go of the incredible weight that I had been carrying in the form of perfectionism for my entire life was and still is worth it to me. In fact, by working to understand myself better, I have come to realize that true friends, to me at least, are those who can see past the challenges I'm working through. They can understand my intentions and choose to believe in the abundance of kindness and love that is in my heart. Overall, this experience taught me to value those who see me for who I truly am. This summer, I came full circle and guided my first Prio in the Laguna Mountains. Unsure of my own guiding abilities and unfairly comparing myself to the best of much more experienced guides on my guide team, I found myself in my challenge zone just by being there. Thankfully, the same wonderful community I had found in my Prio last year as a participant, I also found this summer as a guide. As my inspiring small group reassured me of my guiding abilities, my incredible guide team supported and encouraged me to step into even more leadership roles, not only during the trip, but in my future OA experiences and opportunities as well. Outdoor Adventures at USD gave me the permission I didn't know I needed, to be my whole self as an incoming freshman and now as a college sophomore. Choosing USD was simultaneously a gut decision as much as it was a well-thought-out risk. And so far, I am happy with the choice that I made almost exactly a year ago today. But that doesn't mean college has been easy for me. I quickly learned that my laundry was not going to clean itself, that dinner wouldn't be ready on the table with family waiting for me when I got home from classes every single day, that not everyone knows what small changes in my facial expression, body language, or attitude signal or mean in terms of my mental state, thought patterns, and actual feelings, and so many more small things that anyone who hasn't known me or been around me for years would know. To be honest, it took me a solid 4 months to begin to feel at home here at USD. And it's not because of the people or the campus, but because of all of the change. Transitions are not my favorite part of life. I struggle every day to adapt, but I have learned to navigate through them with the help of a very strong support system. Through this journey, I have learned that I'm only wearing a different pair of glasses than everyone else. I am only experiencing life from a different lens, from a different perspective, from a different point of view. and soon I learned that that was perfectly okay. I even learned that people love it when I am authentically myself. Even if I stand out, that is what makes me unique and that is what makes me valuable. I was made just the way I am for a reason, and through sharing my story and educating others about my journey with mental health, and specifically with autism, I can begin to help others understand where I and millions of other people on this earth are coming from. As a sophomore in college, I'm continuing to find my voice and to take advantage of opportunities for me to tell my story. While standing and speaking up for what I believe in has never come naturally or easily to me, I think that being a voice for the voiceless is the least that I can do with the privileges that I have. During my first year here at USD, I helped create a brave space and club on campus called Alliance of Disability Advocates, where I hosted our university's first Autism Acceptance Day event and facilitated weekly discussions around a variety of topics such as accessibility, academic and emotional support on campus, and the work that allies can do to practice inclusion for all. I have also become a student leader representative for the Changemaker Hub on and off campus, co-created a women empowerment event for those seeking additional support on campus, become certified in Wilderness Advanced First Aid and Leave No Trace as a guide for outdoor adventures, and been involved in even more clubs and organizations than I can count. Activism and leadership is a skill to be developed, and this year I am honored to be representing USD as a Stanford University Innovation Fellow. None of this would have been possible without an incredibly strong support system, though. I would like to thank my family, my therapist, my psychiatrists, psychologists, high school basketball coaches and mentors, high school and college counselors, the friends I have made through clubs and just by being here at USD. And lastly, I would like to thank you for listening.